What's up, guys? How you guys doing today? Today, I'm about to react to horror shorts party video. 5 true babysitting horror stories animated. Why I got a like on this? I've never seen this video. That I got a like on it for. I hear that, bro. You screaming in the background. The heck? What?
This is a story that took place when I was around 18 years old. I still get the creeps just thinking about it. The mental trauma I endured from the horrendous depictions of what transpired several years ago still appear in my head from time to time. I currently see a psychiatrist to help ease the mental anguish, as I now have a tendency of spasming out during my sleep from the nightmares that manifest every night. It all started when I was in my freshman year in college.
Sorry, I keep on pausing. My bad. It's like I have to do that because my computer be acting up sometimes.
I was studying to be an accountant, which was relatively difficult considering the overwhelming amount of math that went along with it. I worked a lot of jobs on the side, apart from doing school, such as being a part-time here at a coffee.
I am so sorry. I am so sorry this keep happening. I'm so sorry. This computer is just weird.
Shop located in the building of my school campus. Getting paid minimum wage obviously didn't suffice my financial situation, which is why I applied to various jobs online for the latter part of my downtime during work. Paying off student loans wasn't an easy thing for students coming fresh off high school like myself, which is why I would take any small gigs I could get my hands on, like mowing the grass or shoveling snow during the winter time around my neighborhood. I even started babysitting for any close friends or relatives of mine, which is why I tended to ask around the family, and even went as far to ask my fellow colleagues, despite the obvious desperate aura I gave off. I realized that babysitting was the perfect gig for me, as it gave me the opportunity to focus on my schoolwork, while the kids were usually masqueraded in the background, playing their video games or were asleep in their beds. There was this one guy in my class named Jack, who I would usually do assignments and exam preparations with, who referred me to this one babysitting gig he was fond of. "Hey, do you still need a babysitting job?" "Of course, dude. Do you have any?" "I do. My dad's friend has been asking around for anyone who wants to babysit his kids." "Hell yeah. Sign me up, dude." "Well, there's a catch. One of the kids is apparently older than us, like in his mid-20s. What the
fuck?
hell? Why would I babysit a grown man? Well, no.
What time though, bro? What time though? It's mid 20s. A grown man. What time though, bro?
What the hell? Why would I babysit a grown man? Well, not to be rude, but he is a little cuckoo. I even remember babysitting for them one time, and it was definitely an interesting experience. How so? He's just a weird individual. Imagine a 5-year-old in a grown man's body. That's how it was like, but at least his parents paid me pretty well.
Mm.
How much? About $200 a night. Plus tip if you did a great job, or if you make it out there alive. You still interested?
Well, hold on. Wait, why you say it like that? He's talking about if you make it out alive. Like, like he gonna die or something? Come on, if you make it out alive. That sounds like a little. threat a little bit. That's kind of weird.
Sure, dude. That's when Jack sends me the contact information of the family, as I sat and pondered if taking the gig was a smart idea. I couldn't help but think of my school loans, which is why I highly considered taking the job, as I was in desperate need for any extra income without too much interference in my schoolwork. Regardless or not, I ended up saving the details on my phone and began sitting through the rest of the class lecture till it was time for dismissal. I remember taking public transit when heading home, as I decided to give the number a text, asking if there was any demand for babysitting services readily available. The number texted back, asking who I was and how I got their number. I then responded with my name Matt, and how my friend Jack referred me. The individual then asked if I could babysit for a duration of an entire weekend, which consisted of 3 days and 2 nights. I was honestly hesitant on taking the deal, but eventually came to terms with it, as the thought of $200 a night plus a tip was a bargain I couldn't turn down. When the day finally came to fruition, I made my way there by taking an Uber and getting dropped off at the address given. As I approached the front of the house, I could see a vague figure staring at me from behind the curtain of the window upstairs.
What the hell?
I assumed that it had to be the older son my friend Jack was talking about. I casually approached the doorstep and began knocking on the door, only to be kindly greeted by the parents and the younger son of the family. Hey Matt, it's nice to meet you. Hey, listen, I left you guys around $200 on the kitchen counter, just in case you wanted to order something. Awesome, thank you so much. You guys are coming back Sunday morning, right? Yes, sir. I'm sure you'll have a blast taking care of my children. Is there any other kids I should be introduced to? Yes, of course. Here's my youngest son, Timothy. And our oldest son, Charles, he's probably upstairs watching TV or something. Charles! Come downstairs and say hi to your babysitter!
Me no like strangers.
Get down here or else you're grounded.
Leave me alone or I call cops.
Sorry for
A
the
cool man
inconvenience,
grounded.
Matt. You'll eventually run into him. He's usually more friendly when you get to know him. That's alright. I just hope he doesn't mind my company. That's when the dad and mom abruptly zone out, as if my statement had triggered a gaunt emotion. I was a little puzzled at their stare, as it legitimately looked like their souls had left their bodies. That's when the dad snaps out of it and says, I think you guys should be fine. Me and my wife need to go and celebrate our anniversary now, okay? Just don't forget to fill the Chihuahua's dog bowl when it's empty and call me if you need anything. Alright, Matt? Okay, sir. Throughout the day, I spent the latter part of my time studying and working on school assignments, while the younger son Timothy played video games on his PlayStation console in the living room. I found it quite peaceful, as the son didn't require much maintenance, nor did the other son, who was allegedly still upstairs in his bedroom. As the sun began to set, I couldn't help but fix myself a sandwich, as my stomach began to rumble. I remember asking Timothy if he wanted me to fix him something, but it was pretty evident that he was too invested in his video game, while simultaneously chomping on a bag of chips he had sitting next to him. That's when I made it to the kitchen and began spreading peanut butter and jelly on a slice of bread on the counter. I then saw a family portrait sitting next to the windowsill of the kitchen. I noticed it was a picture of the parents, Timothy, and of course their older son, Charles, who happened to skyscrape over the entire family from how tall he was. I was a bit taken aback that now I was faced with the responsibility of taking care of a grown man of his stature, considering he was older and a lot bigger than I was. As I surveyed the kitchen, I began to see more family portraits, except the majority of them had another younger boy in the photos. That's when I began to head back to the living room and couldn't help but ask Timothy who the other boy was in the family portraits. Timothy then responds with, His name was Max, and he was my older brother who passed away. I'm sorry to hear that. If you don't mind me asking, how did he die? Apparently my Rottweiler bit him to death while my parents were out of town,
The heck?
which is why they had to give him away and get a Chihuahua. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. If I tell you something, do you promise not to tell anyone? Yeah, of course. What is it, kiddo? I don't believe it was the dog. I believe it was Charles that killed him. Why do you say that?
Bro, this give me chills, bro. This give me chills, bro. Come on, chill, chill, bro. His older brother killed, bro.
Because he's a spoiled brat and I hate him. Why do you hate?
Why you talk about me?
Leave us alone, Charles!
Me no like him, and me no like you.
Hey, it's finally nice to meet you, Charles. My name is Matt.
No, it's not. Your name is Liar.
No, Charles, my name is Matt.
You liar! You believe him and no believe me.
Charles, I do believe you. Okay? That's when Charles made his way back to his bedroom upstairs, while intentionally pounding his feet on the staircase and yelling stuff like,
You let Doggy kill baby Max. That's why he died, you liar.
I then offered to play video games with Timothy, while Charles began making obstructive noises like banging his fists against the wall.
This give me chills.
I was honestly terrified, but I tried disregarding it, as I wanted to comfort Timothy, who was visibly upset and shaken from the whole confrontation with Charles. The time was around 12 in the morning when it was time to head to bed. I remember tucking Timothy in his bed sheets, and then discreetly walking past Charles's bedroom, in which I could vaguely see him staring at me through the small opening of his door. Hey Charles, do you need me to get you anything before bed?
Yes. Me want you go get cup of Timothy's blood.
Bro,
Sorry,
chill, bro.
Charles, I can't do that.
Me want to drink your blood then.
Bro,
Charles, please stop joking. It's not funny.
chill.
Me no try to be funny.
No,
Me
he
just
for real.
want revenge.
Revenge?
Revenge.
Revenge for what?
Me want revenge for Max.
That's when Charles slammed his door on my face, as his intimidation had me shaken to my core, as I began stumbling to the guest room in fear. I then crawled under the
Same for
bed
me.
sheets and honestly couldn't help but think of what Charles meant by revenge for Max, and why the hell he would ask for a cup of mine or Timothy's blood. Nonetheless, I disregarded the bizarre encounter and began watching some movies on the television to hopefully lull myself to sleep. About an hour later, I had awoken from my sleep from a loud thud in the hallway. I decided to check my cell phone for the time. That's when I saw about 100 missed calls and texts from the parents of the boys. I was a bit annoyed at myself, as I could tell that they'd been trying to reach out to me since their initial departure, but my phone was irresponsibly on silent. I then scanned through the messages and could see texts saying stuff like, "Don't forget to give Charles his meds before bed," or
I've never known somebody had that much missed calls and messages. 100 missed calls and 100 text messages. What the heck?
"Please find the meds sitting by the kitchen table. He needs to take 2 tablets before bedtime every day." That's when I immediately sprung up from my bed to head to the kitchen. As I opened my bedroom door, I could see Charles standing next to Timothy's bed, covered in blood. I could also see the walls and ground of the hallway smeared and stained as well, as it honestly looked like a bloodbath or a scene pulled from the horror movie The Shining. "Charles, what the hell happened?" That's when Charles gave me a sinister smile, with blood all over his mouth. I began to zoom past him and into Timothy's bedroom. I then saw Timothy laying on his bed, with half of his face obliterated and his chest cavity opened up, as if a stray dog had viciously tore his limbs to shreds. His internal organs were scattered all over the bed.
Bro, you give me chills, bro. Oh my god. I'm getting really scared, bro. Just watching the video. I'm doing it for y'all, bro. I'm doing it for y'all. But what the heck, bro? But what I'm seeing right now, I'm very terrified. Poor little boy, man. It's crazy. The little Chihuahua dog, whatever, right there.
Bed, while his bed sheets were completely soaked in blood. I noticed the Chihuahua was sitting next to Timothy's remains, while whimpering heavily, as if it was just as appalled as I was. No, 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 no! The dog ate him. Ah!
This story happened about several years ago when I was 17 years old. I was running some.
Bro, I'm literally getting goosebumps, bro. All these bumps right here, bro. Yes, I'm scared I am, bro. Just watching the video. Man, for real.
Errands for my parents, as I wanted to take some stress off of their shoulders from the long work week they had been through. There is a local supermarket about 10 minutes away from my house, so I would usually shop there at the expense of their convenience. My dad would usually text me a list of items and would give me his credit card, as I was a graduate fresh off of high school that didn't have a job. I honestly didn't even know which direction I was heading at in regards to my career endeavors. The final months of high school were usually exciting to most, but was extremely stressful for myself, as the uncertainty of my next chapter in life always lingered in the back of my head. I can recall picking out some canned foods from one of the grocery aisles when my shopping cart unexpectedly bumps into the cart of another individual. That's when I saw this large, older-looking gentleman with a beer belly and scruffy beard on his face, mugging me as if I had killed his dog or something. I then noticed a pair of cracked prescription glasses sitting on the ground. I realized that the impact from the collision must have caused the man's glasses to fall from his face. As awkward as the situation was, I picked up the cracked glasses and began to hand it over to the man as I apologetically said, "I'm sorry, sir, it was an accident."
These glasses are useless. I definitely won't be able to drive home using these.
"I'm so sorry, sir, I didn't mean to."
Did you come with Mommy and Daddy? Or did you come alone?
I came alone, sir.
How did you get here? Do you drive? Or did you take the bus?
Bro, I am getting a chill, bro. Like that man eyes red, bro. Bro, bro. It's like it giving me them demon eyes, bro. Like for real.
I just walked here.
Well, I'm going to need your help in order to get home. Can you please bring me to my place? I won't be able to drive without my glasses.
How am I supposed to bring you home if I don't have a car? Do you need me to call you an Uber or something?
Kid, I don't want to crash my car. Do you have a driver's license?
Yes.
Well then, you're going to need to drive my car so that I can go home and get my other pair of prescription glasses. Then I'll drive you home, okay?
I never felt so appalled to do such a thing, but at the time, I was young and naive, so I got the impression that I had no choice than to oblige to the man's request. As we got in line to purchase our items at the checkout, I noticed the man purchasing several packs of baby formula, diapers, and bibs. I assumed he was a harmless dad who genuinely couldn't see with the cracked prescription glasses, so I decided to brush off any skeptical thoughts of him potentially being a creep and proceeded to buy my items following the man. We then walked towards his vehicle and put our items in the back seat of his car, while I began to second-guess my decisions. I already came this far. I'm just gonna drive him to his place and then be on my way home right after. This shouldn't take long. It'll only be
his ass looking creepy, bro. Like, can he not show his eye halfway? Like, he have it, like wide open, like, god damn, bro. What the heck? That's creepy, bro.
A couple minutes tops. Everything is going to be alright. While driving the gentleman's vehicle, the man says,
What are your plans tonight?
Dropping you off and then going home.
Did you mind babysitting my son? I have to run back to the store and grab more groceries since my shopping time was cut short from you breaking my glasses.
No, something odd about this man. Something weird about him. It's like he trying to set him up. That's what it seemed like to me. He trying to set him up. Do y'all think so? Cause I think so. I think he trying to set him up.
Sir, I can't really do that.
Don't worry, it'll only be for about 30 minutes to an hour max. I'll make it quick.
Sir, I really need to go home.
Please, kid, I'll give you $100. Just please keep an eye on my son. I promise it won't take long.
I honestly felt like the man was intentionally trying to bribe me. But at the same time, I did feel like his story had some genuine aspects that made it.
Cannot trust this man. Cannot trust him. That's all I'm saying. Cannot trust him.
More believable than not. Again, I stupidly buy into the man's request, saying, Sure, please just make it quick. It was about a 10-minute drive when we finally reached the destination. I can recall seeing a 5-story building that looked down. It looked like one of those buildings that had an establishment below it, where the residents lived above it. I also saw an exterior staircase on the side of the wall where the windows were, like the building was some sort of old establishment that I wasn't used to seeing around the area. I remember leaving my groceries in the back seat of his car and making my way up the staircase into his residence. As we opened the door, I got a repulsive whiff of a foul smell, almost like the house hadn't been cleaned in months. If I had to compare it to anything, I would say it was identical to a combination of farm manure and expired cheese. I honestly felt like I wanted to vomit. I began to question how a toddler, or anyone for that matter, could withstand such a rotten stench on a daily basis.
So my son should be in the last room to the right. He's probably sleeping now, but when he eventually wakes up, just feed him the baby bottle in the fridge.
Okay, can you please?
Be right back, kid. I'll see you in a few.
The man abruptly shuts the door and makes his way to the...
Bro, there's something weird about this man. For real, there's something weird about him. For real.
grocery store. I stand in one spot. Yes, I what to do next. As I sat on the worn-out living room couch, I began questioning myself again as to why somebody would be comfortable with leaving a complete stranger alone with their newborn. I could then see a family portrait on the coffee table of the man and his son. I felt a little confused the son needed baby pampering, considering he looked around 10 years old. That's when I heard a loud, tussling noise coming from the baby's bedroom. I immediately got up from the couch and began cautiously walking my way towards the room. I could hear my heartbeat pulsing through my veins as I could slice the tension in the room with a knife. knife. I slowly placed my hand on the doorknob. I counted 1, 2, and opened the door at 3 in one swift motion, only to see the window completely opened. I then noticed there wasn't a baby, just the same man from earlier, wearing a
What the fuck? A man wearing a diaper? Hey, bro. I knew something was weird about this man. I knew something was wrong with him, but I had that feeling.
diaper and a baby bib while having a pacifier in his mouth. What the hell's going on? I thought you said you're going to the grocery store. The man spits out the pacifier and says,
Baby want milk.
"What?"
Hey, bro. I know y'all gonna be mad, but I'm sorry I had to do this, but I'm gonna have to end it right here because my computer is acting up. I can't keep on letting it continue to play and keep on acting up. Maybe the computer need to breathe. I don't know, something.